Well, if anybody's on here, let me know. I didn't do a preview. I just went ahead and decided to go live tonight. We were kind of busy. So if you're here, leave a comment. Let me know if you're here. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome back to Shop Talk Tuesday Live, where we go live every single Tuesday night at 7:15. So I just wanted to say hello, everyone. Welcome back to Shop Talk Tuesday Live. And I got some pretty cool news. First things first, I wanted to update about the giveaway. So we are still on for the giveaway April 10th. And if you guys didn't know, we're giving away a gallon and a half of Stone Coat Countertop Supercast. And all you have to do is go back to that video, the giveaway video. You have to be a subscriber, like the video, comment on the video, and share the video. If you do those four things, you'll be entered into the giveaway. So that's the major thing that I wanted to tell you, just to make sure that you guys, if you haven't done so already, go over there and check it out. There are also a few other things too. So I have a couple of project videos coming out. I've been working on several things at once, so that's why there's been a little bit of a delay with things coming out. But I do have some leftovers, and I wanted to kind of show you guys some pretty cool pigments. Okay, so first things first, if you've ever been on my website and wondered what the sparkle additive is, I don't know if it's too shiny, but it's super sparkly, almost reflect. So anyway, this is the sparkle additive. It's let me see if I can turn this light down a little bit. You might be able to see it just a little bit better. I don't know if you can see here. Kind of glittery, sparkly, pretty nice. Let me know if you can see it. So okay, and then so that is our sparkle additive. Really, it's just it's very fine glitter that you can add to any other colors to kind of give it an extra sparkle. We have our Maui color. This is Maui. This is a very pretty blue. Really pretty blue. I really like this one. This would be our Caribbean blue, which is a lighter blue. This one is also very pretty, but you could use both of them, and you know, in a bunch of different projects. So like a lot of people, like in the river tables, they actually like to use blue because of river. These two blues would actually be really. Now I've been pouring a blank for a shifter knob for my new truck, my new old truck, and so that's what all these drops are from. But real quick, Tom Smith says, "Can you do a video on how to calculate resin amounts in USD?" Tom Smith, I can totally do that. I also have other videos on how to calculate how much epoxy you need. So you can go back through my videos and check it out. I do have some there, but I can also do an updated video as well. So to get back to the colors, this is also a really pretty color. This is avocado. So tell me, guys, leave a comment. Tell me which ones you like so far. We have about 4 more to go, and we actually have 2 of the color changing pigments coming up too. So this is avocado, very pretty green. I like this. It's called avocado, but as you can tell, it doesn't really look like an avocado. Less baby poop, more green. So very pretty color. Now I would never say that purple would be a cool color, but check this purple out. This purple is really pretty. Probably it looks even better in person. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but this is also very pretty purple. So I think this is coral is what they call this one. Excuse me, reef. Reef is the color of this. So this purple is reef color. And then we have 2 of our color changing pigments. Uh, Ferguson Woodwork said I'd use the purple. Yeah, it's purple is what we call reef. And Rhonda Thomas says, nice to hear something besides COVID-19. So glad you're on. Hey, Rhonda. Yeah, it is crazy, and I do want to try to break it up. Although we have been sending up our prayers to those people who are struggling with COVID-19. So it's terrible, but I always want to try to lift those people up too, because they do. It is bad, and they do need our prayers. So yeah. Thank you to all those first responders. Thank you for all the doctors. Thank you for all those people who are willing to help and doing all those things. So I just want to get that in really quickly. But now on to our two color changing pigments. This is Tamarin, and this is a pink to copper color. So I'll see if I can get it to change colors. See how it turns orange there, and it goes almost to like a pinkish red. Yeah, really, really pretty. Really, really pretty color. So I really like this color as well. It's really, really nice. Probably, I think I like the color changing pigments. One of my favorite. And Cody Wells says almost looks like copper. Yeah, if you were to see this color in person, it goes from like a rosy red all the way to copper, which is really cool. And also, last but not least, this is our macaw, and it goes from almost from a purple to a blue. But I'll show you this one. This one is really pretty as well. So you can see orange, blue, purple. I'll flip it over too, so you can kind of see. And let's turn the light down so it'll see if it'll change. Yeah, but you can see them here. You can see them here. Um, Very, very pretty color. There we go. There, it did the purple there on that one. So anyway, this color, it looks almost like a galaxy color. It's super cool. So those are the few colors that we're going to be showing tonight, and my goal is to once a week kind of give like a color of the week, because it's hard to see on the website exactly until I update the photos. I have the powder there, but it's hard to see what it looks like in epoxy. And so I wanted to show you guys exactly what those pigments look like. They're super vivid, super bright. And as far as I know, if you check out the prices and things, the prices per weight, I'm actually pretty low on the price. So, I want you guys to get as much as you can for the money that, because I know it's expensive for the epoxy and stuff like that. So try to keep it as low as we can. But let me go back and get to some of these comments. So Cody says both blues. DK says the first darker blue. Second star on the right says purple is the best. Hey, that purple is really cool. I wouldn't normally pick purple, but I would totally pick purple for that one. Richmond Custom says avocado is sweet green. DK says that purple is almost blue. It's nice. Ferguson Woodworks says might have to try that for my next lamp project. Hey, Ferguson Woodworks. If anybody sees Ferguson Woodworks there in the comments, he has a new YouTube channel where he's doing some epoxy and woodworking, and and learning how to do all those things together. And he's kind of given us some pretty cool videos. And he just came out with a part 1 and 2 of the lamp. He's building an epoxy lamp. And so if you guys should go check him out on YouTube as well. Ferguson Woodworks just started. Pretty cool guy. Jordan Woodwork says purple so far. Melanie says I put woodworking on hold to make masks for them. Oh, hey Melanie, that's awesome. So how are you making the masks? Cody Wells says almost like copper. And Ferguson also says awesome at Melanie. DK says that's being a real patriot. That's just awesome, Melanie. Yeah, shout out to Melanie, doing an awesome job. Paula says all the colors are nice. Ferguson Woodwork says it's a pearlescent. Jordan Woodworks also says good on you, Melanie. DK says that red was cool. Also, hello from Idaho. Really enjoy your videos and work. Hey, thanks, Cody. Appreciate that. Ferguson Weaver says they use that in car paints. Yes, they do. I will say though that the difference between automotive pearl and what we're using is the mica powders that we use are a little bit heavier, where the automotive pearls, they don't sink to the bottom as fast as these mica powders do. Fergus says, oh my goodness, thanks for the shout out. No problem, no problem at all." Linda Conway says, like the first color change, rose to copper. We like hearing you say you lift up the COVID-19 people in prayer. Yeah, not a problem at all. I mean, that's true. We do lift up everybody in prayer, because I know there's a lot of people struggling with it. Our family is blessed to, as far as we know, nobody in our family has it, and we're trying to do our best to keep everybody else from getting it as well. Um, Powell's Custom Wooden Design says, I would almost say the green is more like a green apple I use for my duck calls. You're right. It's more like a Granny Smith, huh? Tamayo says, yo, what's going on, Nate? Good seeing you another Tuesday. Hey, what's up, man? Melanie says, out of sewing material. So, well, that's pretty cool. Now, that's just because I don't know what you mean. Can you be a little bit more descriptive? Let me know. Daily Details says, what's going on, bro? How's it going, Daily Details? G says, hey there from outside Philly, Pennsylvania. Look forward to seeing your projects and hints and tips. Hey, that's really cool. Me too, man. So look, I've gotten this question. Actually, this month I've gotten this question quite a few times, and we'll probably be doing another video on it, but I wanted to kind of give you guys a preview. So one of the major questions that has come up this month is people having issues with pouring too thick and getting cracks and bubbles. Now, I know that's a lot of people have that issue, but I wanted to say one of the easiest ways to not have to worry about cracks and bubbles is to make sure that you're getting an epoxy that is made to pour in thick pores. So I would say that's one of the biggest issues, is people not getting the correct epoxy. But I will say, if you're on Amazon, they try to trick you. They try to trick you with the title and everything like that. They'll say, casting epoxy or epoxy for river tables, when it's actually a top coat, like a bar top epoxy. You have to be careful. You have to go and read the details, because most of those bar top epoxies only pour maybe a 1/4 inch max. So, not very much at all. The deep pour epoxies usually pour up to 2 inches, and that's what we need. That's what you guys need to be getting if you're pouring a big mass. So I just want to put that out there for you. Make sure that's the biggest thing. That another thing would be temperature, and if it's hot outside, if your shop is outside and it's hot outside, try to get a fan or something on to bring the temperature down. But best temperature to be poured is about 70 degrees. And with the Incredible Solutions epoxy that you see me use quite often now, that stuff at 70 degrees, I can pour 3 inches, no problem. So Tamayo 1980 says, I made myself and the family from a new NBC suite material. Cool. Jennifer said, Jennifer, how's it going, Jennifer? I haven't seen you on here in a while. Maybe we're on 2 weeks ago, but she says, hey, Nathan and good viewers, how's it going, Jennifer? Rhonda says, all awesome colors makes for hard decisions. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Second star to the right says, is there a trick to getting a good suspension of micropigments so they don't lay flat? Yes. Yes, the trick is to go after you pour, after you mix your pigments in, to go in later when it has started to set up and it's like the consistency of thick honey, and then make and do your patterns at that time, because it's so thick, the metallic powders won't settle down to the bottom. Melanie Moore says, I'll put a pic on Facebook. Hey, yeah, Melanie, please do that. That would be greatly appreciated. Also, Um, Renee Porter says, I like the color a week idea. Hey, thanks, Mom. I appreciate that. Sheldon, Nick Shelton says quarter inch is definitely the max. Yeah. Yeah, Nick. Nick also has some experience with that too. You can't, with those tabletop epoxies, you cannot pour more than a quarter inch. And what happens is because it uses the same amount of hardener and epoxy, and it's kind of a different blend of things. It wants to exotherm really quickly, and it generates a lot of heat, and that's what happens. That's what leads to cracking and bubbles. Tamayo says best advice for beginners: pour quarter inch at a time. I had to do several pours to fill 2.5 inches. Yeah, I mean, if you do have that type of epoxy, that's what you want to do. But even still, I would say try to, if you're wanting to cast something and pour a thick pour, get casting resin. Get resin that's made to pour thick, and it will actually save you a lot of headaches. Powell's Custom Wood and Design says I use it as well. Carl's Woods, sorry about that, says what's the maximum moisture content for pouring epoxy? So I'm assuming that you mean the moisture content of the wood that you're using. I try to stay below 12%, but generally speaking, you know, the lower the better. 5 to 7 is about average from getting it from a kiln dried place, so around that. But I've had success with anything below 12% moisture content. Ferguson Woodwork says, I swirl every 2 hours for the first 8 hours. Oh my word. Yeah. I mean, that's also a good idea too. Destiny Green says, hi. Hi, Destiny Green. How are you? Palace Custom Wood and Design says 13%. So yeah, people have success with 13%. Like I said, that's very close to what I use as well. Excuse me. But you want to try to stay as low as possible. So 12, 13, 11%. Destiny Green says, good. How are you? I'm good. We're a little bit tired. So at work, we did a lot of, I don't normally do landscaping, but we did a lot of landscaping today because there was a potential of a guy having COVID-19. There's a potential that he could have picked it up because he's done a lot of traveling recently, and he was in the shop. So everyone else went outside the shop, and he will be in there for 3 days. So there will be nobody in there with him, and we will stay out of there and wipe all the stuff down once he leaves. So there is one guy working with him, but he's not allowed to come back to work for 14 days. So yeah, we're good. Everyone else is good. We're doing our best, washing our hands and using, I've used more hand sanitizer in the past week than I have in my entire life. So we're going through some hand sanitizer. Powell's Custom Wood and Design says, I also own a lawn service company as well, so I know how you feel. LOL. Yeah, I'm not. Hey, I'm sure you'll last a lot longer than I will, man. I was struggling. My calves were on fire today when I got home. Robert says, I have a 4-inch pour out coming. Do I need to do anything to the hardened epoxy before I add another layer? Hey, Robert. So yes, if you're going to be pouring multiple layers, there's 2 things that you can do. One, you can either wait till it fully hardens, and then you can scuff sand it with 220 before you pour. You want to scuff sand it, wipe it down with isopropyl alcohol, and then pour again. Or wait till it sets up and it's still soft to you. Like if you can push a dent into it with your finger. If you can push down into it, but it's not, it hasn't fully set up, that's when you want to pour again and no sanding is needed. Jared says, best method for mold release: packing tape, Tyvek tape, melamine, or wax? Okay, great question. I would say that the Tyvek tape, if it came down to tape, Tyvek tape is the best tape. It releases very well, and the difference is packing tape, it also releases very well, but packing tape doesn't stick to the substrate as well as Tyvek tape does, or sheathing tape or house wrap tape, whatever you want to call it. And as far as the melamine wax deal, mold release spray is probably one of the best ways to go. Wax works, but there is also a chance it'll stick to the melamine, and melamine by itself is kind of a gamble because sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't. Rhonda L says, just came in, had to finish dinner first. Hey, no problem, Rhonda. How are you doing? I'm glad you decided to join us this evening. Rhonda says, what did I miss on the update giveaway? So you didn't miss anything. I just wanted to kind of just say that we're still on track with April 10th as the day when the contest is over, and that we will be starting to tally up everyone and start picking somebody. So it'll take a couple of days to get all the entries in and to pick a winner. So yeah, that was just the update there. Brad's Workbench says, what did I win? Oh, that's pretty good. Nothing yet, but maybe you might win some epoxy. So Brad, if you guys check out Brad's Workbench also, he has a pretty cool channel, kind of giving us all the updates on the less expensive tools from, he said did a lot of stuff for Harbor Freight, a lot of stuff from Walmart. He has some pretty cool stuff on his channel as well. So if you want to check him out, I would recommend checking him out. Tamayo says, use something, don't just pour on melamine. Yes, that is great advice. Don't just pour epoxy directly on melamine. I have had it released before, but I've also had it happen. I've also had it stuck more than it came unstuck. So, so anyway, yeah. If you guys, hey, real quick, do me a favor, hit that like button if you would please. It'll put me up higher in the queue. Just go ahead and click it real fast, and give me a like. I would appreciate that. Also, if you guys want to support this channel, super chats are great as well. We do this Shop Talk Tuesday every Tuesday, and that would also be helpful to support the channel. But you don't have to. You know, only if you feel led to. You do not have to. I would appreciate anything that you do. But this time is just for us to get together, do a Q&A. I'm here to answer your questions and just talk about stuff that we talk about in the shop. So I just wanted to make that plug real quick. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for all the support. You guys are awesome. Carl says, have you found anything other than melamine for molds? Yeah, MDF works really well. It just sometimes some stores, the melamine is cheaper than that's why I go with the melamine. Rhonda says, so let me ask, if I want to try and make an end table, which type of epoxy do I look to buy? So Rhonda, are you making like a river table end table? Like, are you going to be pouring any kind of thickness, ½ inch or above or thicker? What is it? NDK less from South Africa. I can't order in your country. Please help. So I totally wish I could help. Does Amazon work there? I don't know much about that. I'm sorry. DK says, how do you pay for super chat? So if you tried you just click the little money symbol down there at the bottom of the screen on the chat side, and it should prompt you how to enter all the stuff there. Pal's Custom Wood and Design says, okay, bro, I gotta go do another video of these boards. Boards I've been working on. I'll shout at y'all later. Hey, Pal's Custom Wood and Designs, no problem. I'll check you out too. You do videos on YouTube? I'll check you out. T. Herbert says, have you ever used WD-40 as a mold release on melamine? Seen someone use it on a YouTube video. Would the oil affect the curing? I would be cautious in using WD-40 just because it might contaminate your epoxy, but I don't know. I don't really know. I've never tried it. So Rhonda L says yes, it would affect it. Ferguson Woodward says I wouldn't, Herbert. Carl Wood says my wife Ashley says hello. Give her a shout out if you don't mind. Of course. Hey, Carl Woods, shout out on what kind of social media, or you know what? Carl Woods, his wife Ashley says hello, and what's up, Ashley? How are you doing? But if you have something that you want me to shout out, go ahead. I will shout it out. Rhonda says maybe an inch to an inch and a half, nothing special to start with. So Rhonda, because you're doing an inch to an inch and a half, I would definitely recommend going with the Incredible Solutions clear. It's called pourable plastic. It's a clear casting resin. Here, I'll show you a preview. Here's the example. Here you go. And you can find this on Amazon. It comes in a bunch of different sizes. So I would recommend that. It's super easy. You can pour it up to 3 inches thick. 1.5 inches works great, and it takes about 3 days, 2.5 to 3 days to fully cure it before you can pop it out of the mold. And I would also wait a full week before placing anything on it or anything like that. But I would recommend that. You can pour it all in one single pour, and you don't have to worry about bubbles. You don't have to worry about seal coats on the edges or anything like that. So I would totally recommend that. But make sure you get the casting epoxy, the pourable plastic. Tamayo, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Second Star Right says, hey, shout out for Ripple and XRP. Yes, yeah. So I think I just got an email about Ripple and XRP today. But anyway, shout out to those guys. James Hay, first epoxy cutting board. Moving on to bigger project coffee table. That's awesome. Hey, Sam, if you have any kind of questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can go on the Facebook page, Goodview Woodworks Community, or direct message me on Facebook, Goodview Woodworks. You can go to my website, goodviewwoodworks.com. We have an email there. You can email me directly, or Instagram at Goodview Woodworks. You can send me a DM there as well. So yeah, if you need to ask any questions, go there. I would recommend all you guys, if you haven't already, go to Facebook. If you have Facebook, go to the Goodview Woodworks community group, and you can go on there and you can share pictures and video and all that kind of stuff. So they can help a lot of people. A lot of people in there help each other and get questions answered, things like that. So it's pretty cool. NDK last. So sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Sorry. Says, is color casting resin food safe for cutting boards? So I'm going to say this, say it kind of like this: yes and no. So the epoxy that we use is food safe, but only for incidental food contact. So really, they're best used as serving trays, less as cutting boards. So I just want to put that out there. Epoxy is pretty much inert after it's fully cured. So there's nothing really harmful there. But until people say yes, it's 100% food safe, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say that it is. But they do say that it's FDA approved for incidental food contact, like what you would get with a countertop or something like that. Samuel says, you man, thanks, brother. No problem, Samuel. Ferguson Woodwork says, at Brad, I've seen that used quite a bit in turning videos. So Brad says, oh, sorry, I missed Brad's workbench. And he says, I just got a pressure pot, gonna try my hand at some resin turning. I know it's not your wheelhouse, but anything you suggest? I've heard Illuminate. Yes, so I do know I do turn things. I don't turn things very often, but I did start kind of like my woodworking there. I did turn a lot of things back in the day. I've turned epoxy. Obviously, I've turned a lot less epoxy than I have wood. But yes, there are a few things I do suggest, especially when turning epoxy. Alumilite is very good for casting with a pressure pot and all that. It cures a lot quicker than a lot of the casting epoxies. However, you can, without a pressure pot, use Incredible Solutions epoxy to cast with. It just takes longer to set up. Another thing too, if you're using carbide tools, you want to get a negative rake scraper. So any of your carbide tools, you would just want to get it with a negative rake. It's best for epoxy to get that. Traditional tools work really well with epoxy, so you're good there. Those are the three things I have for turning. And I would say if when you're turning epoxy and you're using a carbide tool that doesn't have a negative rake, it tends to chip. It doesn't tend to cut and leave the ribbons unless you raise your tool rest kind of high and angle the carbide cutter down a little bit. That'd be the best suggestion. And also you want to turn it rather quickly, not super slow. So hopefully those will help you there. Austin says, hey man, love the content. Any tips on how to source and find slab/hardwood? So yeah, what I normally do is I'll search Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and I type in slabs or things like similar to that, walnut, oak, whatever I'm searching for. And it's actually, you'd be surprised at how many portable sawmills or local people pop up. The one thing I would watch out for is most of the stuff isn't kiln dried, and you want to have dry lumber to work with. I'm actually going to be doing here soon a test. I'm going to cut some wet wood and epoxy it, cast it, and see what happens. So maybe I stumble across something new that nobody else has ever seen. I probably won't, but I do want to see what happens when you cast wet wood. So that's going to be pretty cool. Dave Scott says, hey, you all. How's it going, Dave? Larry Spencer says, good evening. How are you, Larry? Brad's Workbench says, thanks. Going to look into that epoxy. Yeah, you should. It's a little bit less expensive than others. The Incredible Solutions and the Alumilite is also really nice. Alumilite is better for turning. So yeah, check that out. Ferguson Woodwork says, I use my local sawmills at Austin. I like to keep my business local. So Austin says, thanks, Ferguson. Awesome, thanks. So yeah. So Ferguson Woodworks does point out a good thing. Hey, try to support local businesses. That I always do. Even if it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing, I do like to support local businesses as well. Nancy says, other than epoxy, is there anything to use for sealing wood? Hi from Oregon. Yes. If you're doing it for an epoxy project, you can use de-wax shellac. That works well. But I'm going to say this: epoxy. If you're making an epoxy project, epoxy is the best. I know it's expensive, but if you've seen my other videos about sealing the top, if you want to do a flood coat over the top and you don't want bubbles, the way that I seal the top, it doesn't use a lot of epoxy and it'll save you a lot of time from getting bubbles and things like that. So what I normally do is I lay a very thin layer of epoxy and I squeegee it with a shower squeegee, super thin. I do that 3 times. And I'm only using about 1 ounce per square foot, so it's not very much at all. Larry says, staying safe. Hope you're all staying safe. Larry, yes, I'm staying safe. My family's safe. So far, our little baby girl, my wife, and I, not sick. So praise the Lord. Maybe people are those people that are sending out some prayers. They're praying for us. I know we're praying for everyone else as well. Second star to the right says, any way to DIY a kiln? Yes, there is. There are, if you check it out on YouTube, there are several small DIY kilns that you can use. Essentially, all you need is a heat source, a fan to keep air moving, and a fully enclosed area to keep moisture down, and that's the goal. So temperature up, air movement, and a dry area are the things that you need. So I've seen a lot of guys build a small wooden shed There's this one guy locally that has a kiln that works really well, has a solar panel uh, that operates the heater and the fan, and it's just a wooden shed lined with plastic and things like that to keep air flowing through the wood, but moisture not staying trapped inside. So yeah, you can look it up on YouTube. There are ways to DIY a kiln for sure. Ferguson Woodwork says, Nate, if you cast wet wood and totally encase it in epoxy, I don't see why it would curl or cut because it can't lose its moisture content. In theory, anyways. Hey, Ferguson Woodworks, yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I've been thinking. I've had some people tell me that I'm wrong in that. However, they also told me that I was wrong for leaving the bark on that pecan coffee table that I made 2 years ago. And that pecan coffee table has not moved, not in the slightest. The bark hasn't tried to separate, nothing. So I'm right there with you. If the moisture cannot escape the wood and it can't dry out, so the reason why boards cup and move and twist and all that is, let's say I just planed a board here, and this side dries faster than the bottom. When wood dries, it shrinks. So it wants to do this. Shrinks on this side, bows on the other side. That's what creates a cup. Or if the board is long ways, obviously it'll do the same thing, or twist or whatever. But the whole point is drying faster on one side than it is the other, and that's what causes it to cup or twist or do whatever. So in theory, if it can't lose its moisture content, it can't cup. I'm sure you guys have seen any of those seen people that pull up big logs from the bottom of like rivers and swamps and all that stuff, and that wood is still good to use after they dry it out, and it's because the moisture wasn't able to escape. It wasn't able to rot because it wasn't able to in that water to come out of it. So yeah, that's just my little rant right there. James Taylor says eBay is a good place to buy. Some slabs I've bought a couple of them. I find the seller and post it. Hey James, that's a great tip. So what he's saying is that he buys his slabs on eBay. So guys, check that out as well. Jeffrey says, have you poured any epoxy in colder temps? Yes, I have. I've poured it in like 40-degree weather, 35 degrees. This is the problem. It won't fully cure in 32-degree weather. It'll stay soft. So it'll cure enough for you to possibly get it out of the mold, but you would still be able to leave like a fingernail mark or something like that. Have to bring the temperature up for it to fully cure. Brad's Workbench says, I throw wood in my attic to dry. It's also another great place to put it. Jennifer says, Ashley Hardwood has a great video out to make a kiln. Hey, thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, so guys, check that out as well. Linda says, have enjoyed your videos. They have encouraged us to make some tables with an epoxy inlay. I think the epoxy giveaway had our name on it. Yeah, well, hopefully it does as well. The giveaway is going to be pretty cool. Pretty cool time for you guys, so that way you guys can try without having to worry about paying for some epoxy. So Samuel says, FYI, I used Odie's oil you can buy on Amazon. I used it as my finish on my epoxy cutting board. It is confirmed by FDA as food safe. Just needs 2 weeks to cure. Well, that's great news. Hey, Samuel, appreciate that. I will be looking into that. Lost Sailor says, it's been a while since I checked in. Peace from the Adirondacks. The warm epoxy weather is coming soon. Hey, Lost Sailor, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while, but I'm glad you got on here this evening. Tamayo says, really? You left the bark on some pecan? I have a 6-foot log that weighs about 500 pounds. That's a huge log. Yeah, this one actually was a gift from a friend. Actually, the friend that we gave the coffee table to, but they, for my birthday, bought me this piece of pecan, but it was bent like this. So it took me about a year to flatten it back out. All I did was I left it sit in my shop, and I put like 200 pounds of weight right on the bend, and it did flatten out enough for me to plane it flat. So yeah, I left the bark on there, and it hasn't moved since. So it's a win-win for me. And then I gave them the table. I gave it back to them. So they gifted me, and I re-gifted. So it was pretty awesome. Tamayo says, yes, swamp people. Brad's Workbench says, I was just looking at that stuff, Samuel. Does it leave a mild sheen? So Brad's Workbench, I've seen Odie's oil as well. It leaves a more like a satin finish. All right, guys. Well, if you guys have any other quick questions, feel free to leave them up there. I want to thank everybody for the super chats. I want to thank everybody for the likes. Thank you for supporting this channel. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you for joining us this evening, Shop Talk Tuesday Live. And once again, guys, this is one of my favorite times during the week. You guys rock. So I'm going to answer just a couple of other comments, and then we'll be out of here. JJL Ford says, just picked up some black walnut 24 by 60 by 3.5. Super impatient to get to play with this. Meanwhile, I guess I'll just have to content myself forging the legs. So yeah, them out on the Good View Woodworks community page. I would love to see them. And as always, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Stay safe and try to stay healthy. Try to stay away from that COVID-19. Okay, bye-bye.